Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be unpacking something we all do pretty much every single day: scrolling, clicking, and sharing. Have you ever wondered how social networking sites went from these tiny niche college platforms to massive global phenomenons? Let's dive right into the core drivers of why we just can't get enough of them, looking through the lens of some really fascinating foundational research. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the global social trend, move into how humans are just inherently social, look at interactive and personal connections, explore the user-contributed web, and finish up with how this became a trend for literally everyone. All right, part one, the global social trend, from daily habits to global scale. It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why are social networks so incredibly popular? I mean, how did they manage to just completely take over the internet? To answer that massive question, we actually need to zoom in first. Let's look at the daily micro habits of an average internet user. Take Sarah's morning routine, for example. Picture this. First thing, she turns on her computer and checks her email. Then, boom, she immediately visits a social networking site just to see what her friends are up to. She's reading news from her friends, maybe checking out comments they made about movies, music, or books. And then, on her own profile page, Sarah writes a quick little message about what she is doing. Like so many of us, she genuinely enjoys meeting and communicating with others online. It's just this continuous, super satisfying loop of staying connected to her circle. Now, Sarah's routine? It's not just her. It's part of a staggering worldwide trend in communication. As this exploded, different platforms actually dominated specific regions all over the globe. Like in Japan, the top site became Mixi. Over in Europe, Bebo was the big one. Latin America saw Orkut totally rise to prominence, while in the United States, Facebook became the primary giant. So you see, it wasn't just an isolated thing in one country. It was this universal behavioral shift happening simultaneously across entirely different platforms all around the world. And the sheer scale of this growth? It's honestly mind-blowing. Take Facebook as the prime example. It started with a single Harvard University student back in 2004, and then it rapidly exploded, spreading to more than 400 million users in just a few short years. That kind of exponential growth is staggering. It demands an explanation. So, what exactly fueled it? Which brings us to section 2. Humans are inherently social, and our basic need for connection. The absolute crucial point here is surprisingly simple. We like to communicate with other people. It sounds totally obvious, right? But it is the foundational building block of this entire trend. At our very core, we're social creatures. We naturally make friends at school, at work, and of course online. Most of us really want to stay closely connected to our friends and family. Sure, before social networks, we used cell phones, email, instant messaging. The internet was always a pretty good way to socialize. But these new social networking sites, they built a dedicated, frictionless environment specifically designed to let people do this in all sorts of dynamic ways, right in one centralized place. Let's move on to section 3, interactive and personal connections, more than just reading. You see, the real secret sauce of these sites is that they're highly interactive. And by definition, interactive means allowing direct two-way communication. It's not a monologue, folks. It's a dialogue. Social networking sites aren't just these static places you go to passively absorb information. They're deeply personal spaces where you are an active participant in a living, breathing digital conversation. And the specific interactive tools they use, that's what fuels the addictive popularity. Users aren't just reading, they're acting. They're sharing photographs of themselves and others. They're keeping in touch by telling people exactly what they're doing in any given moment with status updates. They post links to a site featuring their favorite song or band, or they join groups with others who share their exact specific interests. And, crucially, they post videos on sites like YouTube where other users can then drop comments. This continuous, multifaceted interaction is exactly what makes these websites so endlessly popular. Think about sharing personal moments, like this photo of a dad and his kids. Users create a continuous, compelling loop of interaction. It's a highly visual, really personal way to maintain close ties. When you post a picture like this, your friends see it, they comment on it, you reply to their comment, and that incredibly rewarding interaction just keeps everyone coming back for more. Okay, Section 4, the user-contributed web, a technological shift. So the really crucial point here is this distinct then versus now contrast. Back in the past, websites were essentially like digital newspapers or television broadcasts. All of the communication went in just one direction, from the website out to the users. It was strictly read-only. The average person simply didn't contribute material to those websites. But today, the internet is profoundly more interactive. Readers are now writers. Anyone can have their own website, blog, or page on a site like Facebook, and they can easily add their own material to the web. And that really brings us to the importance of the word contribute. To contribute means to give or be a part of something with other people. Because everyday people can now so easily contribute their own experiences, express their own unique ideas, and literally put their lives online, the users themselves provide the very information that makes the site valuable to read. Think about it. Without the users contributing, these platforms would quite literally be empty shells. Finally, Section 5. A trend for everyone beyond the college campus. So how did this perfect storm break out of its initial demographic boundaries? Because remember, it didn't start as a phenomenon for all ages. Social networking sites first became truly popular specifically with college students. In fact, our sources note that at one college, students reported spending almost 2 solid hours every single day just on Facebook. But that was only the beginning. It quickly cascaded down to teenagers who use these sites as a primary way to stay connected with their peers. And then, eventually, the trend moved upwards, capturing older adults who also wanted that same vital social connection. It truly transcended every age group. And I think this singular quote perfectly distills our entire explainer today. Quote, "People enjoy using websites that let them connect with others. They like to express themselves and communicate online." It really is that fundamental, guys. The unstoppable rise of these networks wasn't just some fleeting tech fad. It was deeply, deeply rooted in our innate, undeniable desire for self-expression and human connection. The one trend that is absolutely clear, we just want to communicate. Which leaves us with this final thought. As you go about your day today, I want you to ask yourself, how much of your own digital routine relies on this powerful blend of social psychology and user-driven interactivity? Really think about what you post, what you read, and who you connect with. It's a fascinating world we've built, entirely driven by our basic human desire to just say hello. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.